The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to my review show here of NXT Battleground from the Tsongas Center in Lowell, Massachusets on May 28th, 2023. Hell of a show. The second time now that NXT have put on like a big PLE in like a big arena as opposed to the specials that they do on their weekly show just in the Performance Center. So exciting to see how this was going to go, and let's crack on with it straight away, shall we? NXT North American Championship opens the show. Wesley defends against Tyler Bate and Joe Gacy in a match that went 11 minutes and 59 seconds. I think it's time for Gacy to win this title. Sorry, Wes, but your run should be over, as Joe has pretty much earned this. I like the psychology of Gacy being the shit stirrer between the two baby faces in this one. As we know, Tyler Bate and Wesley have had like a bit of a duo going on for some time here. It's good in the early going, but I can tell every second of the match is choreographed as per usual. You know what NXT is like, but that's okay. You know, you can kind of give them a little bit of a leeway when it comes to this, because you know that this is developmental. Got to give Tyler Bate props. That guy's a one strong mother trucker. I mean, let's be perfectly honest with you. That guy lifted up Gacy on his shoulders, but also did a very obviously weak big swing to Wesley at the same time. But that's got to be tough, right? Loved the big backdrop from Wes. So was it Wes into Joe Gacy on Tyler Bate? Might have been Wes taking the bump, but I can't quite remember. This is a whirlwind. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But a big high back body drop. Joe Gacy caught him, power bombed him straight down, picked him back up. Actually, no, it was Wes, now that I think of it. And he picked him up for a second power bomb and threw him into Tyler Bate. Fantastic stuff. Got to give Joe Gacy some more props here. This guy stays in character the whole match. The whole match. He's always thinking about being in his character, despite the fact he's obviously thinking about every single choreographed spot that there is in the match. So props to him, because that's difficult to think about two things at the same time. What's her name? Look, I'm gonna fucking check this out, because I keep forgetting what her actual working name is. The lady, The Rock's daughter, who's at ringside with Joe Gacy, Ava. Okay. I feel like she doesn't know what to do at ringside, and her acting comes across fraudulent. I'm sorry, I felt like her facial expressions did not change the whole match, and that's something that she probably needs to work on. But a huge flurry towards the end. Wesley retained, which I was like, no, I wanted Joe Gacy to win. Good finish, though, to the match. Bron Breakker arrives to the arena wearing a car's windshield for sunglasses. That's terrible. But you know what? He did look real badass as he walked in the building. And then they threw to Carmelo and Trick Williams waltzing in as well to the building. Let's move forward. The Heritage Cup. We know this is British rounds rules. You know, it's 3-minute rounds, as we know. They're bringing it in from NXT UK after all this time. And Noam, the Heritage Cup champion, is defending against Dragon Lee here in a match that went 11 minutes, 51 seconds. I'd never really heard of Noam. So I'm not knowing much about Noam, but I'm looking forward to seeing this British rules style match, because as you'll know on our channel, we have WZWA Reacts, our reaction videos, and we've reacted to many World of Sport British matches over the last year. So I was interested to see how that kind of stipulation would work in NXT and in the current era of pro wrestling, excuse me. The match began. I dig Noam Dar already. I dig the chain wrestling. Choreographing something like this must be so tough with the rounds and the timing of everything. 3-minute rounds, you know, you've got to get everything done in those 3 minutes. So props to these guys. I thought this was really good. Dragon Lee, great explosiveness. Dar got the first fall in the match. Good for the psychology. It makes sense because he gets it. He's been doing this for so long. Whereas Dragon Lee, you know, he's a luchador. He's got to find his footing in a stipulation like this. So we get to that third round. Dragon hits this Hurricane Rana where he jumps over the rope and Hurricane Ranas him off the ring apron. That was nuts. But then we got to the end of round 3 and Dar hit Dragon Lee with this massive elbow, you know, as the bell had run. So it was kind of cool. Like, you know, he's found an opportunity where Dragon Lee is not going to defend himself to try and get that advantage over him. Very cool. Round 4 begins. Dragon Lee is still stunned. Dar with the desperation to take advantage. That's very good psychology. Dragon Lee was playing possum a bit, but it just might not be enough. You know, we're telling the story of somebody trying to dig deep with a game plan that they can think of, despite the fact that they are dazed and confused. For so long, it's not true. Dragon Lee picks up a fall in desperation for all of this craziness going on. And the ringside cornermen ended up fighting with such fire, which led to them both getting thrown out, which I think was cool because that kind of had the smoke clear for what was about to happen. Dragon Lee went for that Rana again over the ropes on the ring apron to Noam Dar, but he copped this horrible bump out of it on the floor. He kicked out, even though he probably shouldn't have, but then again, they probably thought that the bump was going to be a little nicer as opposed to how it looked. I actually kind of thought that Dragon Lee might win this one. He got a near fall with an elevated power bomb, but then here we go. I can't remember the first lady's name, but Lash Legend also got involved, nailed Lee in the back, and then Dar got the pin, and he wins 2-1. So I guess he had to win, you know, 2 out of 3 falls in this, what was it, 6-round British rules match. So it looks like he's got some ladies now. Happy to see they haven't given up on Lash Legend yet, considering her first gimmick with the, you know, the show that she put on didn't work out. But that was fun. Speaking of fun, let's get to this next one, which might very well be the best match of the weekend so far. Very close between this and Macklin versus PCO for Impact Wrestling. 15 minutes, 54 seconds. Dijak has been killing it lately, man. These big specials that NXT have put on, he's been in these big matches. And if Meltzer hasn't given him 5 stars yet, then fuck up, bro. Out of the gate, this was nuts. Like, they did not, you know, have a feeling out process. They went for it to show that the hate was real. Dragunov getting slammed onto those stairs early on, then charging at Dijak, who was holding a table, and Dragunov just breaks through it. That was rough looking, man. Some creative spots with reversals, ending in Ilja hitting into the stairs in the ring there. Then he follows that up by hitting a spike DDT on Dijak onto the stairs. And I'm like, you know that these guys are going for it. Dijak's trying to prove right here, right now that, hey, I should have never been taken off the main roster. I should have been there doing these kinds of angles because this guy has got it, despite the fact he looks like Berlin from WCW. Ilja stopping the ref's count. You know, this is a last man standing match. He stops the ref's count to keep going at him. He doesn't care at this point because he's so mad. But at some point, they do need to worry about the fact that this is a last man standing match. They need to win by that 10 count. Ilja hits a coast to coast on steel stairs on Dijak, which was crazy. And Dijak getting up just at 9 with his shoulders on the bottom rope with his feet up. He just made it. And that's great storytelling right there. That's exactly what you would do because you'd be so messed up that you'd have to, you know, find a way here, there, and everywhere to get yourself up before the count of 10. What a war this was. And it's great that they just got there out of the gate. They just straight away went there. The hate is real. You feel it, you feel it, you feel it. I love the part where they were just giving each other so much, you know, offense and trying to hurt each other so much that they were just growling at each other because they're just animalistic at that point. Then there's a choke slam onto the ring apron by Dijak, who's standing in the ring. Boom. Fans literally with hands over their mouth over the brutality that we're seeing here. And I was thinking to myself, you know, after all this, like they should form a team out of this because they beat the shit out of each other. And they're like, maybe they'd be like, you know what, if we could put this much effort into beating the shit out of each other, imagine we put it together to beat the shit out of other people. If you see if here we go. If Dijak gets to the main roster again, you know, this guy's been killing it in NXT. Will he even get to be featured like this? Their PLEs on the main roster only have 5 to 6 matches, most of them title matches. So many people don't get on these shows. When was the last time The Miz got a big PLE match? And it's The Miz we're talking about here. So you got to think about this stuff when you think about these guys who are busting their balls in NXT. Are they going to get on the main roster and are they going to get opportunities to showcase what they can do on the big pay-per-views or the PLEs? That's a problem. That's a major problem. Dijak was just torturing Ilja with that cane and it was disgusting. Ilja's in the corner. He's beaten up. And, you know, Dijak's saying, you know, are you done? You know, are you going to stay down? And Ilja Dragunov says, not even close. It felt like a horror film, this torture scene from a horror film. He hit him so hard with that kendo stick that the kendo stick was broken. The chair shot to the back after that was like a gunshot, you know, and then Dragunov desperately trying to escape his torturer, just with the last ounce of energy he had, managed to clock Dijak after that spot. This match should be 5 stars. Let's be honest. If Meltzer, you fuckhead, you don't give this 5 stars, then it's quite clear to me that you are so biased to AEW when you give 5-star matches to matches from Rampage and shit. Soon after, a massive forearm from Dragunov onto the back of Dijak's head, who was just so happened to be right into that chair that he brought into the ring. That was it. It was sickening. But Dragunov wins. One thing I will say, though, I think Dijak has lost his last 3 feuds in NXT. He can't keep losing when it gets to this important moment in these feuds where they get to this big conclusion match. He keeps on failing. It's like Omos with Lashley, with Strowman, with Lesnar, with Seth Rollins. He has these moments where he can now elevate himself to the next level, but he keeps on losing at the crucial moment. At some point, someone has to win at that crucial moment. Anyway, at this stage right here, right now, in this review, I need to throw this to my good friend, Adam Blast, the Blast Master. You might have seen him on YouTube. He's the one that created the song My Ass, a Jem Ross parody song. My ass. Boom, boom. Right here, right now, even though it was several hours ago, right here, right now, in Lowell, Massachusets, I am going to throw to Adam Blast right now. I've got to give him a call, and he's going to give us the exclusive WZWA Network road report here for NXT Battleground. So if you just bear with me a second, I'm just going to type in the numbers here to call him. Okay, we're calling him. Okay. Adam Blast, Adam, I don't know if you can hear me. It's time for the road report. It's time for the road report, bro.
This is Blast Master, Adam Blast here at NXT Battleground 2023 here in beautiful Lowell, Mass. We are walking up to the Tsongas Center. That's right, Tsongas. 30 men will enter Tsongas. He said it! He said it! So I'm a huge NXT fan ever since the change to 2.0. I just love the craziness, the insanity, all the people you've never seen before. It's just a good time. So I've been waiting for them to leave Florida, and when I heard they were coming to Lowell, I was like, fuck yeah. Got my Chase U shirt on, I was ready. But I was shocked when I heard they were coming to the Tsongas Center. Normally shows are less than WWE, AEW. You see them at Lowell Memorial Auditorium. That's where I saw Ring of Honor in the past. That's where I saw NXT house shows back in the day. Memorial Auditorium seats about 2,000, I want to say. The Tsongas Center seats up to 10,000. And I was like, there's no way NXT has the brand recognition for that. Well, I was half right. They cut the arena in half. They had 3,500 tickets, and I think they sold over 3,000, so it was close to a sellout. It was a hell of a show. It was a great show. But hey, this is the WZWA Network, so I'll let those WZWA holes tell you about the show.
Well, thank you to the Blastmaster, Adam Blast, for that road report. Really appreciate it, bro. And to everyone out there, please check out #Pro Wrestling on the Ryzen Network, the IRC chat, www.ryzen.net. Join the chat room, Pro Wrestling. Adam Blast is in there. I'm in there. A whole bunch of great people are in there to talk to about pro wrestling at any given time. Let's move forward. We have a backstage promo here with Chase U with Duke Hudson. He's the substitute teacher whilst Andre Chase is out. And of course, Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey end up doing some sort of like presentation, which upsets a few people in Chase U. There's a Noam Dar interview. I don't know what he said because Mackenzie Mitchell was looking so hot. Let's move forward again. Okay, we've got 3 matches to go here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time again. The NXT Tag Team Championships on the line. GALLAS with Joe Coffey at ringside, taking on the Creed brothers here in a match that goes 9 minutes, 33 seconds. It's going to be hard to follow Dragunov versus Dijak. Let's be honest. They get into it. You got to love the Brutus smash. Brutus Creed with his smashing. You know, I love that shit. That's cool. And one thing, NXT still seem to care about tag team wrestling more than the main roster, despite the fact the titles on the main roster have been getting some big spots recently. It feels like they still care about tag team wrestling more in NXT. The Creeds versus Alpha Academy is an angle that is just waiting to happen. Hopefully, within a year's time, they'll have all their shizit sorted out. And by that point, tag teams that will go up to the main roster won't get lost in the shuffle. They will actually be competitive and be utilized every week on Raw and SmackDown. Big props again to Julius Creed with all those belly-to-belly suplexes. I wrote, Jesus Christ, man, like that must have been taxing and exhausting. But he's insanely in shape and insanely athletic. So he followed all that up with a standing shooting star press. The guy's insane. I love that Joe got wiped out after Ivy got involved. Then Ava, the Rock's daughter, attacked Ivy. The distraction led to Gallus retaining, who should have retained because they only just kind of won the belts. Let's give them a run. Let's move forward. Second last match on the show, NXT Women's Championship, the finals of this tournament to crown a new champion after Indy Hartwell's unfortunate injury at the last NXT special. Lyra Valkyria taking on Tiffany Stratton in a match that went 16 minutes and 1 second. I think Roxanne Perez should have faced Tiffany in the final of this to make it seem more likely that anybody could win this. You know, those two were in the match with Indy, the three-way where Indy got injured. You could put them two together again and you might think to yourself, well, geez, maybe Roxanne will win it back again. So I thought to myself, maybe Lyra wasn't the right opponent, despite the fact she did well in this match. It's not like she didn't deserve the opportunity. But to me, Tiffany was already up there, made it more of a foregone conclusion that Miss Stratton was going to win. Tiffany Stratton makes her entrance during, obviously the beginning part of this. Oh, God. She's hot. She's hot, man. I've heard that she's dating Ludwig Kaiser, which is a great choice. The Imperium are all hot. You know, let's be honest with you. Gunther not as hot as the other two, you know, Leonardo and Ludwig. But, man, good choice, Tiffany, and good choice, Ludwig. I'd watch them too, Bo. Anyway, I liked the prissy pigtails that Tiffany had in her hair. That made me laugh because she's such a prissy bitch. But the match got underway. Tiffany showing more aggression lately than you've seen previously. She's really on point. especially with her eyelash game. On point, Tiffy. Lyra has a bad wheel, so we're focusing on the psychology of the bad knee in this match. I just think Tiffany comes across so unlikable, which makes me love her even more as a character. That's what I say about these heels in WWE or NXT. The heels have more layers to their character, which makes me enjoy them more. I really think Tiffany Stratton will be WWE Women's Champion one day. Hopefully not Raw Women's Champion or SmackDown Women's Champion. Hopefully they'll come to their senses and just have one world title for both sexes. But she worked the knee like a champion, and I liked Lyra's fighting from under. She did that very well. Good selling from her. Again, props to Vic Joseph and Booker T's work together on commentary. Very entertaining. Makes the experience more entertaining when the commentators know what they're doing. Tiffany showing such desperation in wanting to win. Mr. Al Snow, who I had on the Insider's Edge podcast on this channel, would be all for it because that's what he goes on and on about. The match is about trying to win, trying to get that 3 count. It's not about waiting for someone to catch you after a dive. Tiffany misses the big moonsault. Then she cops the big kick from Lyra, who had tried that earlier in the match, but because of the bad wheel, could not do it. Tiff, beautiful work with the ring positioning. She got the rope break. That was excellent drama. But then it was soon after that that Tiffany was able to hit that fucking gorgeous moonsault. Excellent. It was mint. It was flush. It was tight. It was fresh. Boom. Tiffany Stratton got the pop from that moonsault. She is the champ. She should be the champ. And good for her. Although I would say I think Cora Jade should have had a title reign during the last 6 to 12 months, you know, because she's done good work too. It feels like Tiffany's now just popped up above her when she debuted after Cora's been on the roster for some time. I'm sure her time will come. Anyway, speaking of the time that will come, it's time to come to the main event of the evening. That's right, the NXT Championship on the line. Carmelo Hayes, the champion, with Trick Williams at ringside, defending against the former champion Bron Breakker in a match that goes 14 minutes, 14 seconds. I liked the wolf nose on Bron for the entrance. Dog face gremlin, anyone? Get it? Rick Steiner, WCW Wrestling. Here we go. Big start to the match. Carmelo with a game plan, knowing Bron was going to charge at him. So what does he do? He drop kicks that knee as Bron is charging at him. Very smart. That's what you would do. You'd look at tapes. You look at see what does Bron Breakker do when he's in a bad mood. He charges right at them. It's like when you play WCW Revenge and the first thing you do is press to charge at them to begin the match and hit them with a running clothesline or whatever. Everyone does it. Every video game. Even Luke on this channel. When he's Shane McMahon, he immediately tries to jump at them with a backing elbow on SmackDown too. Anyway, Melo hits a wild dive to the outside that nearly killed him. And I just can't see him losing this. He just won the belt. There's no way that they're going to hot potato this one right now. And I have to be honest, like, I'm sorry, the new NXT trumps the previous version, which did nothing to build for the future of WWE when you have guys on the roster that are, you know, aging indie guys. You know, it's not going to work for your future. People need to understand that. The matches are just as good now, if not better. Everyone is usually under the age of 30, and it helps main rosters get some angles and TV time they wouldn't usually get on the main roster, you know, because it's so competitive on the main roster. Even though the writing still needs to improve on the main roster, because I honestly think that with all the TV time they have, 30, 40 people could have an angle going right now. If you use WWE main event as well, it's honestly, I don't think it'll be that hard. I'm just being honest. Bron nailed his uncle's spinning belly to belly perfectly. I see Bron, I see his athleticism, I see his power. He's got to be the one to retire Brock Lesnar. Let's be honest. WrestleMania 42, whatever. I'm sure Brock has a few more years left in him. But by that point, let's get Bron in there to end it once and for all. The Frankensteiner from Bron Breakker was insane athleticism, man. He's on fire as a heel. He was already a great baby face, and now he's getting the chance to show what he can do as a heel before finally hitting that main roster. and hopefully they slow burn him and don't rush him to the main event, because that could possibly ruin him. Hayes hitting a DDT out of that stalling suplex. The velocity on it was fantastic. Hayes is trying to find any way to beat this guy. He was doing nothing that I dislike in this match, because sometimes in Carmelo Hayes matches, I get a little bit annoyed by what he does in there. But this one, on point. After all the stuff he didn't even get a 1 count on Bron, but then got a near fall soon after through his frustration. The suspense built. How is Melo going to beat this guy? This is the storytelling that I need from watching a wrestling match in a main event of a PLE. Melo getting speared in midair after a springboard towards the middle of the ring. And these springboards at least made sense. It wasn't just someone standing in the middle and he just did it and jumped backwards. Like, he ducked a clothesline to do it, so that's okay. But that was so close to beating Goldberg spearing Kiwi in WCW, who did the exact same thing and got speared in midair. The velocity, the ferocity of that spear was fucking nuts, dude. Great reversal of that gorilla press that Bron does into that power slam, but it was a great reversal into a roll-up. But soon after that, Carmelo Hayes found his opening. He hit that nothing but net on Bron Breakker to get another victory over him. He wins clean fucking cut, and that's all that there is to say about it. That was a great fucking main event. What next for Bron, though? What does he do? He can't keep going after the belt. The draft has already happened. What do they do with Bron Breakker next? That is the question that I have. But this was a great show here for NXT Battleground. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, this might be the highest rating I'm ever giving an NXT show that I've done. I reviewed with Jooseyboy the first, 10 to 12 weeks of television. We reviewed the specials. Then Jooseyboy kind of hightailed it out of there when it started to bore him. But I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. That is the best NXT show I think I have seen in ever. Let's be honest. Really, really enjoyed myself. So 8.5 out of 10. And really excited about what's going to come from NXT in the next few months to a year, because now they're doing these shows in front of a big crowd. Now they're doing it on the road. It's not just in that freaking performance center in front of the same fans every week. So I think it's incredibly important for them to keep pushing and just building on what they have right now with their audience. And I hope that, within a year's time, people will forget that old black and gold NXT and they'll just be worried about this one. Because honestly, I can't see why anyone who is a wrestling fan would not enjoy this product, at least on the PLE side of things or the pay-per-view side of things. Maybe the weekly TV might not be for you, but as far as these shows, these specials are concerned, they go balls to the wall. There we have it. I'm Karlifornia. Thank you for joining me here on the WZWA Network. Please check us out on ProWrestlingTees.com. We've got 4 designs up there. We need about another 20 sales so we can put up like maybe 25 designs. But not only that, please, again, check out the Rizon Network, RIZON.net, for #ProWrestling, the chat group that is in there, chat room, I should say. And also we have a Patreon now. There's 3 videos on our Patreon right now. It's only $3 a month. So we're going to hopefully start putting some more things on there. And it's stuff that won't make the YouTube channel because of different, maybe possible copyright issues, or just because it's just not suitable for our YouTube. So you're going to get a whole bunch of different content on there. I promise you, you will enjoy it. So once again, I'm Karlifornia. This is the WZWA Network, and we will see you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Don't pay network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Don't pay network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.